Today we're going to talk about the 5 worst neighborhoods in Denver. Buckle up. Guys, welcome back to the channel, Everything Denver, Colorado, where we talk about everything real estate related around the Denver metro area. And today we have a special treat for you on 5 particular neighborhoods of Denver that you may want to give a second thought to before you make the move out. Now, as a realtor, I am not allowed to steer you to or away from any neighborhood.
Right away. No trial, no nothing. Right to jail. Right to jail. Right away. Believe it or not, jail. Right away. Jail. You right to jail. Believe it or not, jail.
But I'm just going to give you the data on these 5 neighborhoods and why they got the worst ranking in Denver and let you make that decision for yourself. So speaking to you as a friend today and not your realtor, but if you do need help, please hit me up at the information on the screen. It would be an honor to help you. So these rankings came from a couple of different websites, aggregated mainly from police reports from the Denver Police Department as far as aggravated crimes against people. So these are kind of deemed more of the dangerous neighborhoods within Denver, and we want to make sure that you guys have good information when you are doing your research about different areas and pockets to live in the city. Now, I did exclude a couple of these from consideration because they weren't really neighborhoods. There's an area of Union Station and the Central Business District that ranked pretty high on the Denver Police Crime Reports as less than desirable areas, but these were not particularly neighborhoods. They have a lot of business, a lot of industrial areas, a lot of and a lack of residential space. So we did exclude some of those, but we're going to give you the top 5 worst neighborhoods in Denver. Here we go. Coming in at number 5, we're going to talk about East Kfax. Now this is just to the east of the downtown Denver area. Kfax is one of the main thoroughfares that runs through the heart of Denver. It's one of the longest paved roads in North America. And this area of Kfax has long had a negative reputation for a lot of nightlife activity, street walking, and other undesirable nefarious activity, and unfortunately it really hasn't cleaned up over the years. So East Kfax, you are going to find a lower price point of homes in this area. Things are not appreciating as fast, and it is notorious for a lot of unscrupulous activity after dark. If you drive down the street, especially after dark, you're just going to notice a lot of seedy motels, a lot of less than desirable areas that you would not want to hang out at after dark. So it's kind of obvious why this one gets such a high ranking, but has a high propensity for violent crime, especially after dark. Now, the next neighborhood on our list, we move further west on the opposite side of Capitol Hill. This is an area of Lincoln Park, and this is kind of sandwiched in between a couple of neighborhoods with actually high crime around them. Part of Denver where Union Station and the Central Business District is, as well as Capitol Hill neighborhood just to the east of it. And the reason this has had a higher increase in violent crime recently is a lot of homelessness issues and a lot of drug activity in the area, and it's kind of become a spot where a lot of homeless people have gone to camp, and unfortunately that has led to a higher rise in violent activity, and that's mainly within the homeless communities. This area is similar to that Central Business District and the Union Station area. It does not have a lot of residential options there. It is mainly apartments and condos. So you're going to find a higher density of renters as well. And that brings us to number 3 on the list, which is going to be 5 Points. Now, if you have any knowledge of Denver or kind of experience in living here, you've long known that 5 Points is one of the rougher neighborhoods in Denver. It was even highlighted on the national TV show Last Man Standing, the show where Tim Allen owns a home here in Denver and works for a major sports retailer, and one of his family members considers moving into the 5 Points area and is hit with a lot of resistance. So unfortunately, 5 Points has not improved over the last few years. It has continued to be a rough neighborhood, a lot of violent crime, and a large increase in homelessness. Driving through this area, I noticed a lot of empty parking lots, and parking is a premium in the downtown Denver area, so it's a little bit shocking to see so many empty parking lots. For the reason, though, that your stuff is just not safe in a lot of these parking lots. Colorado always ranks pretty high on the motor vehicle theft rankings when it comes to nationwide auto thefts. So definitely this is an area you probably don't want to leave your car overnight, and you definitely don't want to leave valuables in your car if you're going to be in this area daytime or nighttime. Now guys, as we go through some of these rankings, I do want to tell you that crime can happen anywhere and things do end up changing. We did have a neighborhood here called the Highlands where about 20 years ago it was one of Denver's worst neighborhoods, one of the highest ranked in violent crime, run by a lot of gang activity and a lot of unscrupulous characters kind of taking over the neighborhood. But now the Highlands is more known for eclectic vibe, its unique walkability, and it is considered a pretty safe neighborhood, and it has turned into $9 coffee shops and $27 salads, so you decide what's better. But it has become a much safer neighborhood over the years, so things can change for these neighborhoods if the right steps are taken. Okay, number 2 on the list is the neighborhood of Capitol Hill. Now this one came in as a bit of a surprise, but not as big of a surprise as the number 1 ranked most dangerous neighborhood in Denver. Capitol Hill sits right in that center of Denver, named after the Capitol building, that large golden dome building that's kind of iconic in the center of Denver. And North Capitol Hill and the neighborhood of Capitol Hill I lumped together. Now the neighborhood of Capitol Hill is a lot of apartments and condos and tight inner city living. You're not going to find a lot of single-family residential homes in this area, and reason it's kind of become more of a hotspot for crime in this neighborhood is because of its proximity to not only Five Points and the Lincoln Park neighborhood, but also its proximity to Denver, the Union Station, the central business district, where we see a lot of our homeless activity and a lot of people setting up encampments in the city. So Capitol Hill is an area a lot of people actually go to and sometimes rent their first apartment when coming here because it's so much more affordable, and you still get into the inner city of Denver, whether you're working down there and you want a short commute and walkability. But if you are looking for a neighborhood that is similar to that, and you're going to have still the positive price point, but it is a safer and higher ranked neighborhood, I would recommend Cheeseman Park. Just to the east of that and south of Kfax, you're going to find that homes and apartments in this area have a similar price point, but the rankings are quite a bit higher. And before we get to the surprise at number 1 of Denver's worst neighborhoods, I want to give a couple honorable mentions to a couple neighborhoods that were just outside of the rankings but have been known to be rougher neighborhoods and not as desirable, and those are the area of Montbello, that is on the east end of Denver just north of Aurora, and the neighborhood of Green Valley Ranch. This one is maybe a little bit surprising given that it's a newer neighborhood out closer to the airport, but certain pockets of the Green Valley Ranch area have been known for higher crime, especially higher property crimes as well. So make sure that you're when you're doing all your research and you look up the crime statistics in these particular neighborhoods when you're doing your search out here, so you have all of the best information available. Now, number 1, City Park West. Now this one really came as a surprise to me because City Park West is actually a pretty nice neighborhood, and it has a lot of high-end homes. Median home price in this area is about $700, $750, and you have a lot of large Victorian-style homes, and you have a lot of clean neighborhoods. It's right by the Denver Zoo and right by City Park and right by a large golf course here in Denver. And I think this ranking got a little bit skewed just over the last 6 months with a couple of events that have happened there. But overall, I'd say City Park West is probably on that transition to a higher end neighborhood, much like the Highlands was years ago and became one of the safer neighborhoods in Denver. So take that with a grain of salt, as City Park West is ranked as Denver's most dangerous neighborhood over the last 6 months from January to July of 2024. But I do see this turning around, and I do see City Park West becoming a more desirable area to live in going forward. Okay guys, here's our top 5 of least desirable or most dangerous neighborhoods as identified by Denver police statistics. Number 5, we got the area of East Colfax. Number 4, we got the area of Lincoln Park. Coming in at number 3, we had the area of 5 Points. Number 2, we had the neighborhood of Capitol Hill, a little bit of a surprise there. And number 1, the biggest shock of all, was City Park West. So if you are thinking of a move to Denver, you can find out where some of the most desirable areas of Denver are. We're going to do a video on that, on the 5 best neighborhoods. Guys, thank you for joining me on this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Please subscribe to the channel while you're here so you get great content like this every single week, and make sure you reach out when you are thinking of your move to Denver.